hey, it's another update, but it's a boring one because nothing has really happened. Well, stuff happened, but it's paperwork, boring, loan, crap stuff that happened. So welcome to another edition of, Road to Dallas. So earlier at the end of March, we did our first attempt to get a loan. I was kind of spooked about the interest rate things and, some of the stuff that was going on in the market at that time. And I was like, you know what? We probably should just start this process now. We don't have to move at the end of the closing. We can still stay here. We have a lease till, our last rent payment here is June 1st. So we have to be out by June 30th or we have to sign a new lease. So we thought, let's just do it now. Let's see what happens. And it was rough. It was a rough start. One of the things that we found out right out of the gate was that Credit Karma is not accurate at all. And I don't really care about talking about my scores because this is all, I don't care. On Credit Karma, both of our scores were about 660, 670. And we knew that, we put a lot of money on credit cards to pay for the transmission for the Equinox, only to have the head gasket blow a couple weeks later or a couple months later. But that's life. That's what credit cards are for. They're for emergencies. We knew we were going to run it up. We didn't think it was going to cause this type of a problem. Well, Ashley's score was in the 700s on Credit Karma. It was like 740 or something like that. And we looked, and all of a sudden it was down to like 600. And I was like, well, why'd that happen? And then I realized it was because of the, she's on a couple of our cards, and we used one of those cards to, pay for the transmission, and which was like $4,000. So 2 cards got maxed up. And so that obviously dropped her score, because we went over the 30%, things like that. And so we were like, okay, well, let's just see what happens. We get a higher interest rate, okay, fine. We can refinance down later, and we'll figure out from there. And so we thought, man, we still have a 660 credit score. The FHA loans require 620 or above. And so, but we knew the pitfalls of that. And so we decided to try. And it came back that my score was like 740. So at 660 to 740. And her score was 580. And that's pretty demeaning. Like, that's like, I had to talk to her and be like, look, it's not your fault, things like this. Well, we come to find out that a year and a half ago, she has had an Old Navy card for like 5-6 years and never missed a payment, all that kind of stuff. And it was closed in November. And we're like, why is it closed? And so we look at the thing, and it said it was 6 months late on payments, which racked up $351 off of a $41 balance left on it. Well, what had happened was Old Navy's Synchrony Bank sold off Old Navy's accounts to Barclays Bank. Well, at the time, we have been living in this house for almost 6 years now, but she got her card when we lived in Wood Village. And so we never changed the address because I just paid it online, and it didn't matter where the address was. She got everything on email. We looked back on her emails, nothing from Barclays. Obviously, the mail went to our old house. The forwarding is done, so it's not going to happen, so it just got sent back or destroyed, whatever. Well, since we didn't know any about that, we didn't make any payments. So it was an honest mistake. It's still our fault, but it's an honest mistake. And so the loan officer that we're working with, one of the loan officers we're working with, Kevin, he's a haunter, and he's out of Temple, Texas. He actually works at Silo of Screams. Hold on, I need to put in... There we go. Sorry, had to plug it in. So he works at Silo of Screams, and he even has his own home display. So we're like, yes, Halloween people, that's great. So we've bonded over that. He's friends with all of our Halloween friends now. He's in the damn Texas Haunters and things like that. He's coming to the convention, so that's great. But he worked really well with us. And at the end, I'll give you guys his name and stuff like that too. So he talked to me like a person, and said, hey, This is what we can do. He did some legwork for me, found out that it was Barclays, found out the number for me to call. I did all that part, and I called him up and I said, this is what happened. And I actually got a girl after a phone tree that was to die for. And literally, that is not a fun thing. Their phone tree and their amount of people that they had in the middle of it was just terrible. I had one girl that sounded like she was taking her phone, putting it on speakerphone, and throwing it across the room, and then trying to talk to me, and it sounded like she was in a tin can. And I'm like, I can't understand anything. Can you understand now? And I was like, oh my God, it got worse the more she tried. And I was like, I need to talk to a supervisor or somebody else. So finally got me to this lady who used to be a real estate agent. So she knew all about this whole process. She was like, I totally get what you're doing. She's like, this sucks. So she goes, I see everything, because I had called a couple days before to try to figure stuff out. They had said that I only owed $42. So I said, great. I sent him a check for $42. So I waited about 2 weeks, waited for that to clear, and then I called him up and I said, hey, what's going on now? And she goes, why'd you send us $42? The amount was for $43. I'm like, ah! So but this lady was very, very helpful. And she said, so you still owe the $351, now it's $309, but you still owe that if the dispute doesn't go through right. And she said, what she's looking at is obviously an honest mistake and a not change of address. She goes, I see all that's been changed in there. So that shows you initiated this, you did the work, and you are apologetic, It is only $351, and it was interest and fees that we never ended up getting anyways, because you never paid it and we charged it off. So we didn't get any of that money anyways. So if you paid it, that would be just free money to us, and sure, we'd take it, but that's still not right. And so she was like, so don't send any more money. Leave it at the $42. Don't send any money. I'm going to send this up to my boss first, because she goes, we can't just send it to credit dispute and have them do it, because they'll look at it and go, well, yeah, he's late 6 months. He's good. We're going to put it on his credit report that way. Because it showed up as 180 days late and charged off. And her score dropped from the original 740 down to 580. That's almost 200 points, And so she said, so just let that sit and we'll see what happens. So yesterday, I get onto Credit Karma, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to pull credit because I don't want to get any more hits. So I go into Credit Karma, and there's all these alerts. And on her credit thing, it now says 0 days late, 000 on the thing, the 30, 60, 90, or 30, 30, 90, 180, I think. And it says that there's no worst payment date. So, like, there's a thing on Credit Karma where it says, like, your worst amount of late payments or whatever, and it says none. So right now it still says 351 because they haven't actually reported the balance to credit. That happens at the end of the month. I think she said the 27th. But the fact that they're changing all the remarks will bump up her credit score a ton. As well as, he said, also put her on 2 more of your credit cards and pay those down to 30% or less. So we did both those things. So she now has what I believe will be a stellar credit, thing, and then obviously mine will go up too, because mine was at 740 with just what was there. Now I paid down 2 credit cards a ton too. So, and obviously everybody knows you should keep your credit cards under 30% utilization, but we're all human. We're all going through the same stuff right now. We're all going through inflation. We're all buying stuff we have to buy. Things happen, and that's what credit cards are for. If you're not going for a house, do whatever you want with your credit cards. Just pay it down. Pay more than the minimum balance if you can. We're all human. We all need credit cards. That's what this life is for. You spend money, you have fun. That's my motto. Well, make money, spend money, have fun. So the process now is we are still waiting. We've got basically 9 more days until we can redo the credit. And we might still be in the hard credit inquiry poll time, that it may not hit us again, but he told us it'll drop your score like 2 or 3 points if we do another hard pull like we did last month. All that credit will hit at one time, and our scores should go up pretty high. We shouldn't have an issue getting any sort of loan. Kevin's probably going to watch this too, so it's going to be funny. like I said in the beginning, part where I talked about Kevin, that we really appreciate what he's helped us with. He's been very, very easy to deal with. He talks like we do and stuff like that. He's not using terms. He's not being confusing. It's just like, hey, let's just figure this out. Let's just sit down and talk like we've known each other for a long time. So I really appreciate that. One of the other loan officers we had was very short and very just like, I felt like she didn't even want to work with us, and wasn't helpful at all. And Kevin was like, boom, let's help. Let's figure this out. Even before he knew I was into Halloween stuff, he was like, let's help this. I know, he gets paid. I get it. Everybody does things for money. But he, to us, he already went above and beyond without us even being a client yet, So that's, that's good for us to know that there is still people out there who are good, and spooky. But, so yeah. That is the process. We're gonna wait till the end of this next week. We're going to put in our stuff again, and hopefully by the first week of May, we will have an answer of how much we can afford, how much we want to spend, because I don't want to spend what we can afford. And then we will dive hardcore into trying to find a house. I did ask him if we wait till the end of the month of April, are we still going to be able to get out by the middle of June? He said not a problem. So yeah, they always say figure 60 days for closing, but in this market and this time, I don't think 60 days is really happening anymore. It's going to be less from what he kind of, gave us the hint. But even 60 days is still the end of June. So we're good. I know that my landlord will give us, I think we have till the 5th to pay the actual rent. They would prorate the 1st through the 5th if we actually had to stay here in the beginning of July, but that's not what I want to do. I'd go stay in a hotel before I sign another lease. But once we know what we can afford, then we'll start working on everything else. I am looking into courier positions. I need to find a courier down there that I want to work with. There's no business licensing down there, so I don't have to get a business license like I do here. So it's pretty much, I just walk in and say I'm a 1099 contractor and fill out their forms, and away I go, and I pay my federal taxes because there's no income tax in Texas. And so that'll be an easy process. Ashley's going to stay working with who she's working with right now, probably at least till September, if not longer. She's going to do it remotely. She'll probably fly up here once a month. And she's going to continue to look for, jobs within Jacobs to transfer for remote work. But right now she's just going to stay with what she's doing and just do it remotely from Dallas. So no job change with her, which is great. It's a big stress relief off of that. But yeah, so this is 12 minutes of me yakking about loan crap. So we will, as soon as we start finding out what, once we find out what we've got, then we'll start doing some videos on some houses we're looking at, and we can kind of tell you guys a little more about what we want in a house. So that'll be kind of the next episode, is we can kind of look over some houses we've looked at already and ones that we've wanted and have gotten passed up. It's about a week now. Houses are selling. They seem to be leaving in about a week. So we do kind of have to jump on this, but we're in a really good part of the market. Yeah, the high interest rates, but the housing, I just heard today that it was basically kind of across the board, like a 3% drop in prices. So we're kind of at a point where the prices are still dropping a little bit, and we're going to be able to hopefully get some concessions, and work with what we've got. So, we're in a pretty good position. It's getting a little stressful here because we have all this stuff to pack, but we have no place to put it because we're going to do a garage sale in 2 weeks. Yeah, or a yard sale, get the shit out sale. And then we just got to start packing and getting stuff out to the dumpsters and all that. So let's cut this. This is too long of me yakking. So thanks for joining us, whatever, and on this journey so far. I appreciate it. And this is more for me in long term, 10 years from now, I'll look back at these and go, man, I remember doing that. That was a crazy cool time. So, anyways, thanks for joining us, and, we'll, meet you back here probably, the first week of May. So, all right. Road to Dallas, North Dallas, but yeah.